Eiffel Tower listeners, it is another Thursday episode, and this is going to be different to any that I've ever done before. You maybe already heard the car horn in the background. I'm not in the studio. I'm out on the street with lovely Lina, my wife.
Hello.
And we're not even in Paris.
No.
We're in Vernon.
Vernon.
Vernon, on the way to Giverny.
Like Harry Potter's uncle, that's sort of Vernon.
As all you guys hopefully know by now, the Thursday episodes are brought to you by Fat Tire Tours. They've, Eiffel Tower listener in the background there, they've invited us out to Giverny and Monet's garden, and I figured instead of doing an episode about it from the studio, I'd do it live.
On the road.
On the
road. The go.
So what we're going to do is we're going to spend the day cycling around the gardens of Claude Monet, and I just figured I'd check in with you before we get there, because Lina and I both, we've come prepared with facts.
Yes.
So Lina said she'd surprise me about a fact about Claude Monet, and I'd give you one about...
And you said that you outdo my facts.
Yeah.
So that's like trash talking from the get-go.
Well, let's hear what you've got.
No, you start.
No, you go.
Okay, well, my fact is about Claude Monet. So Claude Monet, he got so frustrated by the whole, bureaucracy and boredom of how art should be and what painters were successful and that sort of thing. So he got so frustrated and upset, so he jumped in the Seine. He tried to kill himself, but he survived.
So Claude Monet tried to kill himself by jumping in the Seine River?
Yes.
Well, that is a good fact.
Yeah, but he survived.
So how old was he when he did this?
Huh?
Okay, that's a good fact.
Yes.
So just so you guys maybe paint a picture before I give my fact, we're walking through this brilliant, there's sort of half-timbered houses just behind us.
We're in Normandy, aren't we?
We're in Normandy. There's major flashbacks to the honeymoon season.
Yes.
If we walk away from that truck a little bit, very different to the honeymoon season because we came out here on a bus and we've got a tour guide with us, but very similar in that we're back in the small parts of France that are lovely and looking forward to taking you on the journey. So let me give you a fact.
Okay.
Do you know it would take you, if you were to smell all of the different flowers in Monet's garden,
Stop.
it would take you 2.5 hours.
Is that per flower or per species?
No. Well, what I did, I figured I had to take it to the next level with my fact. So
that's insane.
So this is.
Do you get to smell coffee beans in between?
Yeah. Well, hear me out here. So it's every species, not every flower, because there's apparently hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of flowers, but every different species. If you smell each of them, it will take you 2.5 hours.
Wow. Were you slightly inspired by the Louvre
I
painting?
was, yeah.
It's a good one.
They say if you go to the Louvre and you spend 15 seconds. I thought you'd have more questions for me, Lina, but I will tell you my...
Yeah, I'm just a bit shocked.
Well, what I figured is...
Your math skills.
Well, there's...
You were working on this on the bus. I noticed that you were doing calculus.
Okay, let me spell it out for you. There's 60 different types of flowers. There's spring flowers, summer flowers. There's even trees, but I didn't count them.
Okay, fair enough. They won't really smell anyway.
Well, I was going to ask you about it, but I didn't want to give away my clue. And I figured to smell a flower, you need 2.5 minutes.
No!
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I feel like it's an experience. Well, partly it's an experience.
No,
Yeah.
You're crazy.
Secondly, like you said, you need to cleanse your palate.
Yeah,
between
with
the
the
two.
coffee beans.
And I thought you also need to go and find each of the different flowers.
Oh, okay. Well, fair enough. But
so 2.5 minutes per flower
is
times
this
60.
also if you have really, really bad knees and it takes you a while to get down?
What?
Flower height?
This is age-friendly.
Okay.
Flower
All right.
So we're going to go out there. What we're going to do before we even get out to the garden and cycle out there from Vernon is we're going to go and buy some cheese.
We're going to get a picnic.
Yeah, we're going to get a picnic. So I'm going to record you ordering the croissants.
Please don't.
Because I know that you never know if it's un or une croissant. I still don't know.
No.
And then a little treat for you guys at home. I've talked about, in a very early episode of the Eiffel Tower, I talked about how I have post-traumatic stress disorder when it comes to ordering cheese.
Yeah.
I don't say that to make light of anyone with a more serious post-traumatic stress disorder. It's just that I got really a difficult experience on my first cheese shop, and I didn't go back for about 2 years.
Scarred.
And a lot of listeners remember it and ask me about it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But now I'm a lot better, and I want to show you guys what happens when I go into a cheese shop.
Yes.
So let's get that out of the way, and next stop, croissant.
I guess so. Bonjour madame, je peux avoir 2 croissants s'il vous plaît et aussi une baguette pas trop cuite. Merci.
Very professional.
Oui, c'est tout.
Une baguette, 2 croissants, c'est 2,85 s'il vous plaît. Merci. Alors, 3 et 1,20 €.
Super. Merci.
Au revoir. What you did there, Lina,
Yes.
is quite clearly you don't know if it's un croissant or une croissant.
Yeah, that's, it's hard. It's hard being me. I always have to order 2 croissants. I go with 2 croissants.
Clever.
Yes. You eat more, but it's worth it.
Well, next stop, cheese. So I'm in the cheese shop now. I'm going to go full French. Let's go. Lina, you ready?
Yes.
We're next in line. Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Ça va?
Oui, et vous?
Oui, merci.
Vous venez d'où?
Moi, je suis australien.
La suédoise.
Super.
Et vous?
Française.
Français. D'ici aussi?
Oui, d'ici.
Cool. Et j'ai pensé de prendre 2 fromages différents.
D'accord.
Quelque chose comme Comté, Comte de Savoie, peut-être?
D'accord, le comté, oui. J'ai 2 comtés.
Ok.
J'ai le 10 mois qui va être très doux ou le 24 mois qui va avoir plus de goût.
Ok, plus de goût, c'est parfait. C'était 24 mois.
Oui.
2 years. Alors, ok, ça marche. Merci. And I noticed as well, everybody at home, that there's also flavored cheese. There's tomato flavored Tom and there's lavender flavored Tom. So I'll order some of that tomato flavored Tom dedicated to my brother Tom. Oui, les tomes de Savoie. Et j'y pensais peut-être on peut prendre un peu de tomate aussi.
D'accord. Vous voulez la goûter aussi?
Non, je vais juste.
Vous allez découvrir.
Ouais, c'est une aventure. Now,
Au revoir.
au revoir. I love that in French shops, the woman that left just said goodbye to everybody.
It's so lovely.
La politesse française.
politesse.
7,95 €.
Merci.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci à vous.
Bonne journée aussi.
Merci à vous aussi.
Oh, et les fromages.
So we just stopped off for a picnic on the River Seine, believe it or not, and I would encourage everybody who's more visual to check out my Instagram stories, because we're sitting next to a beautiful half-timbered house that's floating above the water. It's amazing. But the real reason that I press record again is because Lina's been pulling up my sleeve. Because
I have a better fact than before. I'm gonna outdo my own fact.
you're gonna.
And we're gonna outdo your fact because you just made up your fact.
Okay, I'm gonna start telling the other customers about my fact, but let's hear yours.
Okay, so my fact number 2, which should be number 1, is that did you know that Claude Monet had a person that he employed, a full-time person, to dust his water lilies out in the pond before he went out painting. So every day.
So someone dusted the water lily.
Someone dusted apparently the water lilies.
Why dust them?
He
not
went out in his
hose
little
them off?
boat.
Really?
Yeah, he went out in a little boat and he dusted them off. So
Okay.
Claude Monet could paint the beautiful, crisp, pristine water lilies.
I think it's, if you're hearing this episode, that means I've fact-checked Lina's facts, and that means it's true. So we can take that to be true. But anyway, so we just had a picnic, beautiful little picnic spot, and now we're going to jump on the bikes and go along the river to
their house, I guess.
the house of Claude Monet.
Yeah.
Let's do it. So now here we are in Monet's gardens.
Walking in the footsteps of Claude.
Well, we have to keep our voices down because there are quite a lot of people here.
Yes, it's a bit intimidating.
Yeah, I
Okay,
don't know if I'm intimidated. It's all gentle souls bird watching and taking pictures of flowers.
Okay, yeah, you're right.
It's probably the least intimidating crowd I've ever seen. But it's a little busy, but it's interesting. So
It's beautiful, that's
It's-
what it is.
well, where we're walking right now is, and I don't know if everybody knows this, maybe they do, is there's the flowers as soon as you walk in, beautiful flowers everywhere, and
Yes.
his home. And if we continue this way, I think just a little bit.
Sure.
So we're walking across one of the sort of famed bridges that go over the lily ponds at the moment.
Exactly.
And
It feels like we're walking in a painting.
It does.
It really does. And I just remembered when I was younger, I read this book. It's a Swedish book. It's called In the Garden of the Linnea in the Garden of the Painter, and it's about this little girl who walks around the garden painting everything.
Oh, so you've been brought back to your childhood.
In a way, yes.
That's pretty lovely.
It is lovely.
So we've taken a quick look at the flowers, which was really interesting. Did you hear any of the live walk I was doing with Kit, the tour guide?
Yeah, I kind of shadowed you
Yeah.
a little bit.
Did you take some pictures?
I took pictures. I didn't hear any words.
No.
I was busy smelling the flowers.
Well, that makes sense.
Yes.
But all those pictures and the walk show they're already there on YouTube, Facebook, I should say.
Facebook.
Anyone who wants to watch them. But do you have a preference, Lina, of the flowers or the lily pond?
Well, I would say that the lily pond, I just find it was like overwhelmingly a lot of people. Everyone trying to stand on the bridges, taking the photo. It's including me. Maybe that's why I got annoyed. No, it's very beautiful. But I really like the floral arches leading up to the main entrance of his house, the pink house.
There was some. That was the sound of some tourists speaking French.
Yes.
For everybody at home. You know what I like was coming up to the. So I didn't understand that Giverny was a tiny little village.
No, I thought it was just his
And
home actually,
that
and the
was-
garden.
It was actually really lovely cycling through that.
Yeah.
It reminded me of the honeymoon trip again.
A lot, I
It was
know.
really nice. So it is nice. So Fat Tire does walking tours, and apparently there are runners in here as well. Everything's happening. Fat Tire does walking tours and cycling tours, but I think it was really nice to cycle through the village.
Yeah, if you can, I think it's
I think I'd go with a cycle.
really nice.
You know what was funny for me too is cycling over here. I was talking to some of the other people on this tour,
Yeah.
and Christy from Austin, Texas,
Mm-hmm.
listens to the Eiffel Tower.
Lovely, Christy.
And as we're talking, I can see her on the other bridge, and I think I'm going to go and try and snag her for an interview. All right, I'm going to do it.
Okay.
Okay, Christy.
Yes.
From Texas. So, we're standing here on quite a romantic bridge that we've just met. But I was kind of interested in hearing your thoughts so far about Monet's house and his lily pond, and if it's everything that you thought it would be.
Well, it's just amazing to me because I've seen his paintings in the Orangerie, so I've seen the depictions of this,
Right.
but to see it in person is just breathtaking.
You know, you say that, it didn't even occur to me. I've been there as well, in the, you mean the big curving...
Right.
Right, in central Paris, which is well worth a visit. But that's exactly what we're looking at now.
Yeah, and you can just picture it. But, I think with the light that we have today, it's cloudy, kind of overcast. It just gives it a really unique feel. I love it.
And do you think, I'm wondering if you think there's too many people here?
No,
No?
I think everyone should enjoy it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think, in fact, we were just talking about this. I think Monet would be thrilled that people were enjoying this.
Well, you know what? When I was at the Orangerie, the place that you were talking about with the lovely curved paintings, he had a sign, he'd written something that they gave out to everybody, and it said, "This is best enjoyed." He said, "This is best enjoyed in quiet and peace and tranquility." And I remember thinking when I was there, well, it's so crowded here, there's none of that. I don't know if Monet would be happy.
Yeah, maybe not. But I just think it's, everyone should experience this if they can.
I think you're right. I think I'm sounding a bit negative. It really is. It really is beautiful, especially with those weeping willows coming in over
and
the
the
water.
lily pond.
What I'm going to do, Chris, is I'm going to take a picture of this exact spot we're standing to put it in the show notes on the website so people can imagine what we're looking at too. But if you've got any tips to finish on this, any tips that you'd give to other people who are coming here?
Just to take your time and walk around and really look at all the different flowers and plants. It's just amazing. I'm thrilled to be here.
And if you had to tell people to listen to, let's say, one podcast before they came to Paris, what would that be?
The Eiffel Tower,
Yeah,
of course.
All right. All right, I'll leave you to it, Christy. Lovely to meet you. So we're checking in now, having just left the establishment.
Yes.
I really like being around a lot of tourists.
Yeah.
There weren't-
Hearing all the languages.
Well, that's the thing. There weren't a lot of tourists because I'd just been looking through the comments on the live video that I did.
Mhm.
And someone put a comment that when they were there, it was shoulder to shoulder,
Oh, really?
really hot. And not very
I
nice.
think maybe we came on a good day, so it's the forecast was a bit for rain. Little bit
Exactly,
rain,
and I think it put off a
and
lot of
bit
people.
grey, not the warmest.
But as you said, I like I like when people are being really polite to each other in different languages.
Yes, I like it.
Saying,
And you hear
"Excuse me."
people speaking French in all sorts of accents. It's great.
So I thought I'd give a little bit of practical advice because I feel like some people might be listening to this planning a trip out to Monet's gardens
Well, I hope
themselves.
so.
My tip is set your expectations high for the lily pond.
It is beautiful.
Yeah,
That's
you
a
won't be
good one.
disappointed. Like, so I came out here thinking flowers, gardens, roses. That's going to be really nice.
Yeah.
And then I was blown away by the
actual pond?
By the pond, yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe I should say the opposite. Set your expectations low, and you'll be
For
happily surprised.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's in a way better, I guess.
But one of the sort of more practical tips is when you come out and walk along we're actually walking along the road now. We're doing a walk show of our own.
On the Rue Claude Monet.
Yes, the street named after the artist himself.
Exactly.
And off to the left and the right, it's all flowers everywhere still, but there are a lot of little cafes and a lot of...
A lot of art shops, a lot of... Oh, and I just got a raindrop.
And it's starting to rain, perfect timing. But we went into one, it was called the Café, something like de la Capucine.
Yeah, something like that.
Really good for a little espresso. If you do that,
Perfect.
you'll be happy.
Rest your legs a little
You
bit.
know what?
Bring comfy shoes.
You know what I
Can
thought
be
I'd do?
walking.
I thought I'd tell a story.
Oh, please
You know,
do.
because this is a sort of one-of-a-kind podcast, but I just remembered a funny thing that happened last night.
Yeah.
So here's a little off-topic tip for you guys. We went past a really sort of unusual-looking building last night called Carmen, C-A-R-M-E-N.
In Paris.
Yeah, yep. If you guys watched that walk show I did with Caroline de Maigret, the supermodel, we walked right past it, so you'll be able to see it. It's near the pink building,
Yeah.
Pink Mama. Anyway, so we walked past it, and Lina, you said, well, what the heck is that building?
My words exactly.
So we walked in, and it was this beautiful old building that was a nightclub that's open, it turns out, till like 6 in the morning.
Yes.
Too late for me. My friends call me the Midnight Man, believe it or not. But we walked in, and there's this bartender, this fantastic bar, like this huge ancient home, and he says to us, we said, look, we just came in to have a look, we're not here for a drink. And he said, well, let me tell you a story. This is the house where Bizet, the composer, lived.
Yep.
Not just that, he said, this is where he composed,
Carmen.
which is the name
Hence
of the bar.
the name.
And then the bartender sort of looked me up and down, and he said, do you know Carmen?
Boy, do I know Carmen. All of us started to sing.
Yeah.
Not to sing, like chant.
It
was loud as well.
Toreador.
Yes, he did.
And
He's
so-
even flapping like an imaginary like red flag
Yeah, I
around.
sang Toreador.
It was
I
yeah.
belted out a little bit. This
Almost
is a
violent.
reason I'm bringing this up. So I sang a bit of Toreador, and then I remember there's also that one, L'amour est comme un oiseau rebelle.
Yeah.
Right, so I did that, and the guy was so impressed, he said to us in French, ça mérite une shot. And if you didn't know what that means, it means that deserves a shot. And he pulled out some gin, apple,
infused with cinnamon.
and cinnamon, and
Yes,
he poured all of us
very
shots, him
strong.
included. And he said, I hope to see you guys back here in the bar one day. And I just thought I'd share that as a little Paris story for all you guys living in Paris. The bar, Carmen, in the 9th
Looks
arrondissement.
Very cool.
I can't stand for it as, I can't
Yeah, we don't
speak
know
for it
yet.
as being a good nightclub or a good bar, but if you're going there for a cocktail,
A cool place.
I'd recommend it. And sing, and you'll get drinks.
Yeah, your voice is currency, guys.
Anyway, this was a bit of a tangent, but the Eiffel Tower, if you're new around here, is all about tangents. But we're walking back to where everyone's getting on their bicycles now, and we're going to cycle to Claude Monet's grave.
In the village.
So off to it.
Off to it.
Well,
So what is this the sound of? Well, this is the sound of my rain poncho, which came in handy.
because the heavens just opened up on us.
Yes, I'm soaked.
We've amazingly.
I think I've weighed 5 kilos more than when I started this trip, and it's not because of the croissants I bought, no.
The croissant played a part. But yeah, we got rained on, and we got rained on hard. It was funny because we got in the gardens. It's thanks to the rain that no one was there.
Yes.
The beautiful gardens and the beautiful pond.
And it
But-
will help the flowers grow.
It'll help. It's good for the crops,
Yep.
but not good for us because now we're absolutely saturated. We're sitting in a bar. I think the water flooded the bridge or something. So
Yeah, something happened. I think we were a bit stranded.
so the bus back to
This
Paris is a little bit delayed, but it's nice because we get to have a beer, alcohol free if my mum's listening. But, you know, just in review, I think I'd recommend it. Great trip. I'd never been here before. You'd been here as a child.
Yeah, didn't remember it.
It's funny to
I will
record
now.
an episode of a whole day like this because I already can't forget what we talked about. I forget what we talked about on and what we didn't. So it may just be me repeating myself for half an hour, in which case I apologise to everyone. But thanks to all you listeners for coming on this journey with us. If you want to find out more, the website's fattiretours.com. You can find links in the show notes to the exact tour that I'm on. And don't forget, you'll get a 10% discount if at the checkout you use the code EARFUL, EARFUL, which if you're doing a trip like this, especially with a family, as a few people were in our group, that's a big saving. So go check that out. Thanks to Fat Tire Tours for sponsoring the show, and go on the EarfulTower.com to see a bunch of photos from today. Not to mention the walk show.
Exactly, yes.
And in the Instagram stories, I'll keep them up for the whole month. You'll see me sniffing roses.
This fragrant adventure.
You'll see Lina skulking in the background.
Yeah, with my hood on.
Should I read an email? Should I finish on an email?
I think you should.
But oh look, our guide, Kit, has just joined the table. Thank you for the tour.
You're very welcome. It's my pleasure.
And I thought I'd put you on the spot with one tricky question. It is a tricky question.
Okay.
If you were coming back to Monet's garden for the last time for some reason, right? And the staff said, sorry Kit, you can only choose one. You can either go in the gardens or go to the water pond. Which would you go to?
I guess the water pond, if
Why
it
is
was.
that?
Because that is what he focused on in his paintings at the end of his life. It was something he reflected on. His last paintings are very, in a way, for him, he wasn't a very religious man, but spiritual is his legacy, his, in a way, memento mori, if you will, reflecting on death through absorbing how life looked at the end of his life. Yeah.
And that sounds like it would be a little bit of a morbid last visit, but
Maybe, yeah. Depends, on your perspective.
and how many times have you been to that place?
Well, I've been to Giverny many a times. Haven't gone to the gardens every time I've been to Giverny, but I've been in the gardens, let's say, maybe 40. I've been doing this tour for 8.5 years. So.
All right, well there you go, guys at home.
Mm-hmm.
It's the pond that you want to go to if you have to make the same choice. But thanks again for the tour, Kit.
Okay, you're welcome.
So, we got a bit interrupted there when the bus arrived. So now we're sitting on the bus in the rain, backseat rebels.
Loving it.
Maltesers, not sharing them with anyone else.
Players.
But I thought that I'd just continue and finish on that email that I mentioned that I'd read.
Yes, email time.
You get so dear listeners, every time someone mentions Lina in an email, I read it out loud to her as a general rule.
And I get excited.
Yeah, and you're mentioned in this one.
Yay.
So this is from Lauren Gibson.
Hello, Lauren.
Hello, Lauren. She says, hi, Oliver. You come later.
Okay, all right. I'll wait for the good part.
I'm a long-time listener and subscriber of the Eiffel Tower, probably since October 2017. Not bad. Yeah, pretty good, Lauren. Well done. And thank you for subscribing. That's the most important thing, as I said in a recent episode, because of the download numbers. Long story
Can you
short.
hear the rain?
Oh, you said it right as we went under the toll booth. Anyway, I'm going to skip through bits of this email because it's a little bit long. But she says, I realise this sounds a bit corny. And by the way, I don't know Lauren. But she says, I realise this might sound a bit corny, but I'm just so proud of your work. You're killing the podcast game. Bit violent, Lauren.
Morbid,
She
but
said,
nice.
And YouTube, social media, etc. And it's so great to see your success. Congratulations. On my upcoming trip to Paris, I plan to take my husband on a little hunt for the Philippe Auguste wall, because he goes crazy for stuff like that. Well, I tell you what, Mr. Gibson, that makes two of us. We'd probably get on like a house on fire. Then she continues a few other things that she'll take from the episode. I'm not going to read it all, but on a personal note, listening to your podcast was a bright light during an especially difficult time. Now, it says more than that about the difficult time, but let's respect Lauren's privacy here. So I really can't thank you enough. I'm returning to Paris this Saturday for a week, and I wish I could buy you and Lina a cup of coffee as a thank you.
That's so sweet.
Isn't it lovely? It
That's
also
so sweet.
says, I realise at this point you're probably too busy, blah, blah, blah.
And we love coffee.
I love coffee. Never too busy for a coffee if it comes with a lovely email.
Right?
So Lauren, I've responded to this email and said that we'd do it.
Yay!
But she also says something that I wanted to read out. As a non-Facebook user, how would I find out if I happen to be in town during any listener events? Would you announce them on Instagram as well? Sure.
Yeah.
In fact, this morning I put a notice out that in September I will be having an event at the Australian Ambassador's residence. That amazing view of the Eiffel Tower is where I will
Can
be
be
having...
yours, guys. Well, it can't be yours, but you can take a photo up there. If you can.
Someone wants to be the host. I'll tell you guys right now, if you're in Paris, the tickets, or they're not tickets, but the seats are going to go as a priority to Patreon supporters. There's no way it's not going to be that way, as my way of thanking people for supporting the show. So the event will be in September. So if you've been thinking about signing up, if you're in Paris, do it now. The email continues from Lauren. Hope to somehow say thank you in person if the stars align. Again, thank you for bringing me so much joy each week. No, twice a week now. And especially big thank you for the joy you brought me as I went through this challenging period. And then this bit's quite nice. It says, you never know all the ways in which you are impacting others. Keep up the awesome work.
Wow.
Then
That's quite the pep talk.
there's a PS. I'm also headed to Annecy during my trip. Lina was kind enough to respond to an Instagram message during your honeymoon to give me some restaurant recommendations. We're taking her up on her suggestions.
Oh.
Pressure.
Just a little bit of
What
pressure.
did you recommend? Do you even remember?
McDonald's. No, I'm joking. I can't actually remember, but I think I recommended the fondue place that we went to.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was a must-do. Good. Okay, good tip. If you're new around here on this show, Lauren's referring to the honeymoon season where Lina, the woman sitting next to me right now, and I drove around the entire country on a scooter and sort of recommended places that we visited.
Yeah.
And a little shout out to you, Lina. You're at Parisian Postcards on Instagram, and you love it when people ask you for restaurant tips.
Well, I love it. Yes.
No, it's not strictly true.
Not strictly true, but I'm happy to. If I can somehow help, I'm
You always
happy
say,
to.
I'm
Of
happy
course.
to indulge for a follow.
Wow, that sounded desperate.
But Lauren, thank you for a kind email. And on a very serious note, it really, as a sort of working in a sort of creative job, maybe the same for you with making shoes and
Yeah.
illustrating, it's always really touching and humbling to get emails
It
from
is.
people out there, especially you guys who've been listening for a long time like Lauren and maybe haven't got in touch before. It warms the cockles of my stone cold heart.
Yeah, wow, okay. Yes, it's not that cold, guys. He's a nice guy, really. Whatever you might
Thanks,
think.
Lina. If you guys have listened this far, I applaud you for hanging around, and I'll let you go now. We're on the way back from Giverny now, and
Yeah,
I'm going to
heading
relax
to
on this
Paris.
lovely bus. But once again, just to sum it up, Fat Tire, they are sponsoring the next couple of months of Thursday episodes for the Eiffel Tower. Each month, I'm going to do a sort of trip episode like this one. So send me your feedback. Let me know what you think. If you prefer me to do it from the studio, if you enjoyed the adventure, I always want to hear from you. And don't forget that discount earful at the checkout, 10% off.
Cash
Worth it.
in, people.
All right, guys, I'll talk to you on Monday with the episode. I think it's going to be Georgedi.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, the
Oh, I
basketball
can't
commentator.
wait.
You listened to Valley, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. Oh, it was so good.
She was cool.
I really want to meet her.
Good feedback from
Yeah.
the listeners
Yeah,
on
I
that
can
one.
imagine.
She'll be back. She wanted to be back.
Oh,
I'll
yeah.
do a walk show with her.
I want to befriend her.
And we've been listening to the song
Not
a lot as well.
fangirling at all over here.
Valley,
Just a
if
bit.
you're listening, you've got a new fan right here
Yes.
in Lina. So everyone, talk to you on Monday. Thanks for listening, and au revoir.
Bye.